My name is Amanda Foster, and at 32 years old, I never imagined that a single phone call would finally set me free from 8 years of financial servitude to my own family. Transfer $300,000 for the wedding expenses. My mother's voice came through the phone, matter of fact and demanding. What? I stammered, caught completely off guard. Your brother is getting married, and the wedding costs $300,000. You need to pay for it. I stood there, frozen in disbelief. 8 years. I had financially supported him through 8 years of education, from his bachelor's degree all the way through his master's program. $80,000 in total. Doesn't he have any savings of his own? I managed to ask. He just graduated. Where would he get that kind of money? My mother's voice carried that familiar tone of impatience. You're his older sister. Supporting your brother through school is your responsibility, isn't it? I remained silent, processing what I had just heard. Last month, Kevin had blocked me on social media. His reason? I had asked if he wanted to come home for Thanksgiving, and he responded with, "You're so annoying." $80,000 over 8 years, and all I got in return was being blocked. He blocked me, I said quietly into the phone. Did you know that? There was a 3-second pause on the other end. That's just a small misunderstanding, my mother replied dismissively. Are you going to transfer the money or not? I work as an administrative assistant at an ordinary company, earning $7,000 a month. While that might sound decent enough, here in Los Angeles, it barely covers the cost of staying alive. I rent a studio apartment in East Los Angeles, in an older neighborhood, for $1,800 a month. It's 400 square feet with no balcony, just one small window facing the parking lot. In summer, it feels like living inside an oven. In winter, it's like a freezer. The air conditioning unit is an ancient window model that sounds like a tractor when it runs. I've lived in this place for 5 years now. It's not that I don't want better housing, it's that I simply can't afford it. I have a brother named Kevin Foster. He's 6 years younger than me, 26 now. 8 years ago, he was accepted to Stanford University. I was 24 then, having worked for just 2 years when my parents called me home for what they called a family discussion. Your brother needs to go to college, and we don't have enough money saved. We need you to help out a little, they announced. Help out a little. Those words would haunt me for years to come. At the time, I was earning $4,000 a month. After rent and living expenses, I could manage to save about $1,000. I assumed helping out meant contributing that $1,000. Instead, my mother informed me, you need to transfer $3,000 every month. $3,000? I was stunned. I only make $4,000 a month. Then you'll have to live more frugally, my mother replied with that same matter-of-fact tone. You're just one person with no family to support. Your brother will eventually need to provide for a family. You sacrifice now, and he'll take care of you later. I opened my mouth to protest, but couldn't find the words. My father sat nearby, puffing on his cigar, and added, Your brother has real potential. Eventually, the whole family will benefit from his success. What you invest now, he'll repay you for later. Repay. That word stuck with me for 8 long years. From that moment forward, I transferred $3,000 every month. Later, when my salary increased, I transferred even more. During his undergraduate years, it was $10,000 annually. For his graduate program, when tuition and living expenses increased, it became $15,000 per year. Over 8 years, I transferred a total of $80,000. To understand what $80,000 meant to me, you have to understand how I lived. It meant I couldn't afford to get sick. When I caught colds, I powered through them. When I had toothaches, I endured the pain. When my stomach hurt, I drank hot water and hoped for the best. It meant I couldn't buy new clothes. I wore the same winter coat for 6 years until the cuffs wore through, then patched them with black electrical tape. It meant I couldn't date anyone. There was a nice man who showed interest and asked me out to dinner. I looked up the restaurant on Yelp and saw that even the cheapest option would cost $40 per person. I told him I wasn't hungry. Eventually, he stopped pursuing me. When my mother asked why I wasn't dating anyone, I told her I hadn't met the right person. "You're not getting any younger," she said. "Don't be too picky." I didn't say anything in response. The truth was, I wasn't being picky at all. I simply didn't have the luxury of choice. A woman living in East Los Angeles with no savings, who had to send $3,000 home every month, had no right to be selective about anything. During those 8 years, my parents never sent me a single dollar. No birthday gifts, no Christmas presents. When I got sick, no one even asked how I was feeling. I had to buy my own plane tickets when I visited home. My mother's response was always, "You have a job and a salary. Why would we need to give you money?" Kevin, on the other hand, received not only his tuition and living expenses, but also spending money for entertainment. On his birthdays, my mother would transfer $3,000 with a note saying, "Don't deprive yourself of anything while you're away." When he passed his exams, my father would send $2,000 as a reward, encouraging him to keep up the good work. When he got sick, my mother would lose sleep worrying and call to ask if she should buy a plane ticket to go take care of him. And me? When I had a fever of 103 degrees, I drove myself to the emergency room. My mother never even knew about it. I didn't tell her. What would have been the point? "You're the older sister. You need to look out for your little brother." I heard these words my entire life. When we were children and Kevin took my candy, my mother told me to let my little brother have it. When Kevin broke my piggy bank, my mother said I should forgive my little brother. When Kevin failed his tests, my mother warned me not to put pressure on my little brother. When I earned straight A's, my mother told me not to get too proud of myself. When I was accepted to UCLA, my mother questioned why girls needed such a good education anyway. When I graduated from college, my father said I'd done well enough and shouldn't spend any more of the family's money on myself. When Kevin was accepted to Stanford, my father declared that our family's ancestors must be smiling down on us from heaven. Well enough, that became the theme of my entire life, while Kevin's theme was, "The whole family supports you because you are our hope." I used to believe that narrative. I thought that when he graduated and became successful, he would remember all my sacrifices. I imagined that once he started earning money, he would take me on trips, buy me gifts, and make up for all the experiences I had missed during those lean years. I believed that blood was thicker than water. But then last month, when I asked if he wanted to come home for Thanksgiving, he replied with just 3 words. So annoying. Then he blocked me on Facebook. I stared at that grayed-out profile picture for a long time. 8 years and $80,000, and all I got was "so annoying" and a blocked account. That night, lying in my East Los Angeles rental, staring at the moldy ceiling, I spent the entire night thinking about one question. Had I been a complete fool for the past 8 years? After Kevin blocked me, I called my mother to tell her what happened. "Mom, Kevin blocked me." "Oh?" Her voice sounded distracted, uninterested. "He's probably just busy. Don't read too much into it." "He said I was annoying him." "Well, maybe you were contacting him too often. Young people are like that. You shouldn't bother him so much." Bothering him? When I sent him money every month, he never seemed to mind being bothered. "Mom, I send him so much money every month." "Isn't that what you're supposed to do?" my mother interrupted. "You're his older sister, and he's your younger brother. What's wrong with helping him? When he becomes successful, he won't forget about you." I fell silent. Then she added, And don't keep bringing up money all the time. Talking about money between family members is so hurtful to our relationships. Talking about money hurt family relationships, yet demanding money from family never seemed to bother anyone. I hung up and opened Instagram to see what Kevin had been up to lately. That's when I discovered I couldn't see any of his posts. It wasn't that he hadn't posted anything. He had deliberately hidden his content from me. I used a secondary account to search for him and found his Instagram page. His most recent post was from 3 days earlier. Palo Alto winters are so cold. Had French cuisine with my girlfriend tonight. About $120 per person, not bad. The accompanying photo showed a steak dinner and a glass of red wine. $120 for a single meal. I stared at that image for a long time. Here I was, living in East Los Angeles, paying $1,800 a month in rent, while he was in Palo Alto eating French cuisine that cost $120 per meal. With my money, I was funding his education, his lifestyle, and his expensive dinners, while he hid these posts from me because he didn't want me to see how he was spending the money I sacrificed to give him. Why was he afraid for me to see it? I scrolled down through his posts. Bought a new purse for my girlfriend today. She's so happy. The photo showed a Coach bag that I knew cost at least $300. Went to San Francisco today. California is amazing. Even the air smells good here. Had dinner with classmates tonight. Split the bill. Came to $80 per person. Such a bargain, haha. Such a bargain. $80 for one meal, and he thought it was cheap. I had spent half an hour debating whether to add a $3 tip to a $12 food delivery order. That was the difference between our realities. I continued scrolling and found a post from 6 months earlier. Some people live such miserable lives that they feel the need to interfere with everyone else's business. So annoying. I didn't know for certain if this was about me, but I suspected it was. Every time I asked him, "How are things going?" or "Are you working too hard?" or "Do you want to come home for Thanksgiving?" In his mind, I was interfering with his business. I was being annoying. I set my phone down and lay back on my bed, staring at the ceiling. The air conditioning unit wheezed and groaned, as if mocking me. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, I was 24 years old again, just 2 years into my career, and my mother was asking me to help support my brother. In the dream, I said one word: no. Then I woke up. When I awakened, it was still dark outside, and the air conditioning was still making its awful noise. I wondered what my life would be like now if I had said that no all those years ago. I might have been able to afford an apartment with a balcony. I might have been able to buy a coat that didn't need electrical tape to hold the cuffs together. I might have been able to afford to date someone. But I hadn't said no, I had said yes, one yes that lasted 8 years. 3 days later, my mother called to tell me that Kevin was getting married. "Your brother found a wonderful girl. Her family has money, she's beautiful, and they're a perfect match," she announced. A perfect match. I paused, confused. If her family has money, then the wedding expenses. The wedding costs $300,000 and you're paying for it. What? You're paying for it, my mother repeated. Your brother just graduated and doesn't have that kind of money. Your father and I can't afford it either. You've already supported him through school, so help him one last time. One last time. I had heard those words countless times before. It was always going to be one last time. Mom, I don't have $300,000. Then get a loan. Apply for a personal loan or a credit card advance. I can't qualify for that much. You make over $7,000 a month. How can you not qualify? Your credit score is good, isn't it? I remained silent. Yes, I made $7,000 a month, but between the money I sent Kevin and my own rent and living expenses, I had never been able to save anything substantial. I had no savings. I actually had debt from a medical emergency 2 years earlier that had cost me $20,000. Insurance only covered half, and I had borrowed the rest from friends. I was still paying that back. Mom, I've given Kevin $80,000 over the past 8 years. There you go again, my mother interrupted impatiently. You're his older sister. Helping him is your responsibility. Why do you always have to bring up money like this? Don't you find that embarrassing? Embarrassing. It was my responsibility to help him, but embarrassing for me to mention the money. Then let Kevin figure it out himself, I said. He just graduated. How is he supposed to figure it out? You're his sister. You should help him. I can't help him anymore. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then my mother said something that completely broke my heart. If you don't help your brother now, who's going to take care of you when you're old? You're not married. You don't have children. Who else will you depend on if not your brother? So that was it. That was my value in their eyes. I existed to fund my brother's education and then hope he would support me in my old age. I laughed bitterly. He blocked me, and you want me to count on him for my retirement? That's just a small thing. Mom, I interrupted her. You think this is small. I don't. What do you mean? I mean, I'm done transferring money. $80,000 over 8 years is enough. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm done. $80,000, 8 years. That's enough. I hung up the phone. My hands were shaking, but my heart felt calmer than it had in years. After I hung up, I expected my mother to call back and yell at me, but she didn't. Instead, my father called. Amanda, your mother says you won't pay for the wedding? That's right. That's not acceptable, my father said. Your brother is getting married. This is important. You're his older sister. How can you not help? Dad, I've been helping for 8 years. This is different. Before was for his education. This is for his wedding, which affects his entire life. I need to live my life too. My father paused, then changed his tone. Amanda, I know these years have been difficult for you, but your brother really needs help this time. Once he's married and settled, he'll repay you for everything. Repay. There was that word again. Dad, he blocked me. That's between you siblings. You can work that out. He hid his social media posts from me. Young people do that sort of thing. He didn't even send me a wedding invitation. There was a pause. He didn't send you one? No. Maybe he just forgot. Forgot. After I supported him for 8 years, he forgot to send me a wedding invitation. How perfectly reasonable. Dad, I told you already, I'm not transferring any more money. Why are you being so stubborn? My father said, frustrated. It's just $300,000. You can get a loan. Just $300,000? I laughed. Dad, how much do you get in Social Security each month? $2,400, he admitted quietly. $300,000. How many years would you have to save, eating nothing, buying nothing, to accumulate that much? He didn't answer. I'm just a regular working person too, Dad. Where am I supposed to get $300,000? You'll find a way. I can't find a way, I said. Dad, over the past 8 years, I've transferred $80,000 to Kevin. Have you and Mom ever sent me even $1? You have a salary. I have a salary, but I also need to live. I pay $1,800 in rent, eat $10 fast food meals, and I haven't bought myself a single new piece of clothing in 6 years. I don't even dare to date anyone. That's your own business. Yes, it is my own business, I agreed. And Kevin's wedding is his own business. But, Dad, you and Mom raised me for many years, and I'm grateful for that. But I've paid that debt back already. The $80,000 I spent on Kevin's education is enough. What do you mean, enough? We're family. Family, I interrupted him. Does Kevin think of me as family? He blocked me, hid his posts from me, and didn't even send me a wedding invitation. Does he consider me family? My father had no response. I continued, Dad, you and Mom taught me from childhood that as the older sister, I needed to accommodate my younger brother. I accommodated him for 32 years. Now I'm done accommodating. You ungrateful child. Yes, I'm ungrateful, I said. Then go ask your precious son for help instead. I hung up the phone. A few minutes later, my mother called. I didn't answer. She called again, and I still didn't answer. She sent a text message. Call me back right now. I replied, There's nothing to discuss. She responded, If you don't pay this $300,000, consider yourself no longer my daughter. I stared at those words for a long moment. Then I typed back, Fine. Send. She left several voice messages after that, but I didn't listen to them. I blocked her number. Then I opened Kevin's Instagram and saw that he had posted something new. It was a photo of his wedding invitation. White paper with gold lettering that read, We cordially invite you to attend our wedding ceremony on December 28, 2024. At the bottom, it was signed, Kevin Foster and Sophia Hamilton. Below that was an additional line, Only son, blessed by your love and support. Only son. I stared at those two words for a long time. Only son. In his narrative, I didn't exist at all. The woman who had supported him for 8 years had been erased completely. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, with those words, only son, repeating in my mind. Only son. He had deleted me from his life entirely. $80,000, 8 years, I no longer existed. At 3 in the morning, I got up and opened my laptop to find a specific folder. It was my financial records. Starting in 2016, I had documented every single transfer I made to Kevin. The date, the amount, and notes for each transaction. September 2016, transferred $3,000 for living expenses. October 2016, transferred $3,000 for living expenses. The records continued through October 2024. Transferred $5,000 for living expenses. 8 years, over 200 entries. Total, $80,270. I enlarged that number on my screen and stared at it. $80,270. This was my money. Money I had saved dollar by dollar. Money I had saved by living in East Los Angeles, eating fast food, and denying myself any romantic relationships. I had given it all to him, and he called me annoying. He blocked me. He wrote only son on his wedding invitation. The irony was overwhelming. No, it was actually funny. I started laughing, but as I laughed, tears began falling down my cheeks. The next day was Saturday, and instead of sleeping in, I met my best friend Lisa for coffee. You look terrible, Lisa said the moment she saw me. What's wrong? I told her everything that had happened. When I finished, she sat in stunned silence for a long time. Your brother is absolutely awful, she finally said. Yes, he is. $80,000. You supported him with $80,000 and he calls you annoying? That's not even the worst part, I said with a bitter laugh. He wrote only son on his wedding invitation. What? Lisa nearly spat out her Starbucks coffee. He doesn't have a sister anymore? Not in his mind. What a complete ingrate, Lisa said, hitting the table with her palm. What about your parents? What did they say? They want me to pay for the wedding. $300,000. What the hell? Lisa actually cursed out loud. When I said I wouldn't pay, my mother said to consider myself no longer her daughter. Lisa's jaw dropped, and she couldn't speak for several moments. Finally, she took my hand. Amanda, what are you going to do? I was quiet for a moment. I'm done transferring money. Good, Lisa nodded firmly. You should have stopped years ago. But I hesitated. I feel a little sad about it. What makes you sad? I don't know exactly, I said. I know they're being unreasonable. I know I should cut my losses, but they're still my brother and my parents. Amanda, Lisa looked at me seriously. You supported him for 8 years. $80,000. You've done more than enough. I know. What have they ever given you? I thought about it. When I was little, they raised me. Raising you was their obligation as parents. You paid for your own college through work-study programs, didn't you? Yes. After you started working, did they ever help you? When you were sick, did they come to see you? You've been living in that tiny apartment for years. Did they ever ask about your living conditions even once? I remained silent. The answer was no. They never had. Amanda, you don't owe them anything. They owe you. My eyes filled with tears. Lisa handed me a tissue. Don't cry. They're not worth it. What you need to do now is focus on living your own life. As for them, let them figure out their own problems. I nodded and wiped my eyes. By the way, Lisa said suddenly, your brother's fiancée is named Sophia Hamilton, right? How did you know that? I have a colleague who knows her, Lisa said. She comes from money. Her family is in real estate development. They're quite wealthy. So? I heard that your brother told her his family was wealthy too. I stared at Lisa. What? Your brother told his fiancée that his family was well off, that his parents were business owners, and that he had a sister who was a manager at a large company. A manager at a large company. Me? I was an administrative assistant at an ordinary company, making $7,000 a month and living in East Los Angeles. He lied to her? It seems that way, Lisa said. Otherwise, why would a rich girl be interested in him? I sat there, speechless. He hadn't just erased me from his life. He had created a fictional sister, a sister who was a manager at a large company. When he needed a sister for his narrative, he invented a fake one. When he didn't need me, I simply didn't exist. Amanda, Lisa called my name. Are you okay? I snapped back to reality and smiled. I'm fine. But in my mind, I had already made a decision. On Monday at work, I received a text message from Kevin, not through Facebook since I had blocked him there too. Sis, lend me some money. Just that one sentence. No greeting, no politeness, no explanation. Lend. After I had supported him for 8 years, he called it lending. I didn't reply. In the afternoon, another message arrived. Sis, I know we've had some misunderstandings before, but I really need money urgently now. $300,000 for wedding expenses. Mom and Dad can't afford it, so I can only rely on you. Rely on me. Who was I supposed to rely on? I still didn't reply. That evening, my mother called. I didn't answer. She called from a different number, and I still didn't answer. The next day, my father called. I did answer that one. Amanda, your brother texted you, didn't he? Yes. Why didn't you respond? There was nothing to respond to. Listen. My father sighed. Your brother is really in a tight spot. The bride's family is pressuring him about the wedding expenses. If he doesn't pay, the engagement might be called off. Then let it be called off. What did you just say? I said, let it be called off. It has nothing to do with me. What do you mean it has nothing to do with you? This is your brother's wedding. Why should I be involved? You're his older sister. His wedding invitation says only son. He doesn't have an older sister. The phone went silent. After a few seconds, my father said, "That was just careless wording." Careless? I laughed. Careless when writing the wedding invitation? Careless when posting on social media? Careless when introducing his family to his fiancée? Silence. Dad, he told his fiancée that his sister is a manager at a large company. Did you know that? My father said nothing. When he needs a sister, he creates a fake one. When he doesn't need me, I don't exist. Amanda? I have nothing more to say, I interrupted him. Figure out the wedding expenses yourselves. I hung up the phone. A few minutes later, Kevin called using an unfamiliar number, probably afraid I wouldn't answer otherwise. I did answer. Sis, his voice sounded urgent. Why aren't you responding to my messages? What's there to respond to? Sis, I know my attitude wasn't good before, but I'm really desperate now. Your attitude wasn't good? I laughed coldly. Blocking me is just a bad attitude? Hiding your social media posts from me is just a bad attitude? Writing only son on your wedding invitation is just a bad attitude? That wasn't... Wasn't what? He stammered. That was just random wording. Random wording? Kevin, do you know how much money I've sent you? Sis, I know you've sacrificed a lot. $80,000. I interrupted him. 8 years, $80,000. I lived in East Los Angeles, ate fast food, and didn't buy new clothes for 6 years. Did you know any of that? He fell silent. You eat French cuisine in California, $120 per meal. You buy purses for your girlfriend, hundreds and thousands of dollars. All of that money came from what I saved penny by penny. Sis. Then you tell your fiancé that your sister is a manager at a large company. I continued. Kevin, you're ashamed of me, aren't you? I never. Yes, you are, I said. You once said that mentioning my salary in front of your classmates would be embarrassing. He stopped talking. Kevin, I will never transfer another cent to you. Sis, you can't do this. Yes, I can, I said. I've given enough over these 8 years. From now on, I'm only living my own life. Sis, you're being selfish. Selfish. I paused for a moment, then laughed. Yes, I'm selfish, I said. Then go find someone who isn't selfish to help you. I hung up the phone. Kevin didn't give up. He started frantically texting me, calling me, and even created new Instagram accounts to try to contact me. I blocked everything. Then he changed tactics. He started making passive-aggressive posts on Instagram. Some people live such miserable lives that they don't want others to be happy either. Really selfish. Why do family members need to keep such detailed accounts of everything? Just realized that some people really don't deserve to be called a sister. I read these posts without feeling any emotion whatsoever. In the past, I would have been hurt. I would have wondered if I was doing something wrong. I would have questioned whether I was being too calculating. Not anymore. $80,000 over 8 years. I had done more than enough. On Wednesday, Lisa texted me. Amanda, did you see your brother's Instagram posts? I saw them. He's still talking bad about you. Let him talk. You seem pretty calm about it. What's there to be upset about? I replied. He's talking bad about me because he doesn't have money anymore. When he had money, he couldn't even be bothered to speak to me. Lisa sent me a thumbs-up emoji. On Friday, something happened. I was at work when the receptionist called to say, Miss Foster, someone is here to see you. When I went downstairs, I was shocked. It was my mother. She was wearing an old winter coat, her hair was disheveled, and she had dark circles under her eyes. She clearly hadn't been sleeping well. "Mom, how did you get here?" "I came to get money from you," she said bluntly. "I told you, I don't have any." "Amanda," she raised her voice, "your brother's engagement is going to be broken. $300,000 for the wedding. If you don't pay it, who will?" The receptionist and several co-workers were staring at us now. I felt my face burning with embarrassment. "Mom, let's go outside to talk." "Go outside for what?" She refused to budge. "You just don't want to give him money. You're being selfish. We raised you and paid for your college education. Is this how you repay us?" Paid for my college education? I had earned my tuition through work-study programs. But I didn't mention that. Instead, I said, "Mom, please lower your voice." "Why should I lower my voice?" She became even more agitated. "Supporting your brother's education was your responsibility. Now he's getting married and you won't help. Are you even human?" Everyone around us was staring. I could see curiosity, sympathy, and entertainment in my co-workers' eyes. I took a deep breath. "Mom, let's go outside to discuss this." "I'm not going outside. If you don't give me the money today, I'm not leaving." She planted herself on the couch next to the reception desk. My supervisor came out of her office. "Amanda, what's happening?" "I'm sorry, this is a family matter." "She won't pay for my son's wedding," my mother announced loudly. "My son is getting married and she won't contribute a penny." My supervisor looked at my mother, then at me. "Amanda, why don't you take care of this family situation first?" I nodded and approached my mother. "Mom, please, let's go outside to talk." "No, Mom. If you don't give me the money today, I'm staying right here." I looked at her, at this face that was both familiar and strange. This was my mother, the woman who gave birth to me and raised me. But at that moment, when she looked at me, all I could see in her eyes was money. "Mom." I knelt down to her eye level. "You want money, and I don't have it. You want to sit here, that's your choice. But I have to get back to work." I stood up and walked toward the elevator. "Amanda, stop right there! Amanda!" she shouted after me. I didn't turn around. As the elevator doors closed, I heard her crying. "I raised you all these years, and this is how you treat me." I pressed the button for my floor, and the elevator slowly ascended. Tears fell down my cheeks, but I wiped them away. It wasn't worth it. I wasn't worth crying over a family like this. My mother sat in the company lobby for 3 hours. Eventually, security asked her to leave. When she left, I heard she was still cursing me, calling me unfilial, an ingrate, saying I would face divine punishment. That evening, my father called. "Amanda, your mother is very upset." "I understand." "She said you had security remove her?" "Security asked her to leave. I didn't tell them to do that." "Well, Dad, she came to my workplace to cause a scene and embarrass me in front of my colleagues. Do you think that was my fault?" My father was quiet for a moment. "She was just desperate." "Being desperate gives her the right to cause a scene at my workplace? Being desperate gives her the right to call me an ingrate?" Dad, I told you before, I'm not involved with the wedding expenses. It won't help for you to keep coming to me." My father sighed. "Amanda, your brother really needs this money. The bride's family is pressuring him. They say if he doesn't pay the wedding expenses by the end of this month, the engagement is off." "Then let it be off." "Will you really not help your brother anymore?" "I've helped him for 8 years, I said. $80,000. That's enough." "That was for his education. This is different." "How is it different?" I interrupted. "It's all my money. Money I saved by living in East Los Angeles, eating fast food, and not daring to date anyone. Why should I have to pay even more?" "You're his older sister." I'm his older sister, but I'm not an ATM machine. My father fell silent again. After a while, he changed his tone. Amanda, your mother says if you don't pay this $300,000, she'll disown you as her daughter. I know, she already told me that. So, I told her that was fine. What? I said fine, I replied calmly. If she doesn't want me as her daughter, I don't want parents like this either. Amanda, how can you say such things? Dad, you think I'm unfilial, don't you? You think supporting my brother's education was my responsibility, and not doing it makes me unfilial. You think because I'm his older sister, I should sacrifice for him my entire life. I never. Yes, you did, I said. That's how you've raised me since childhood. I'm the older sister, so I have to accommodate my younger brother. The younger brother is a boy, so he's the family's hope. What about me? What am I? He didn't answer. I'm a tool, I answered for myself. An ATM machine. Someone to fund my brother's education. Someone to pay for my brother's wedding expenses. Amanda, but I'm done with that, I said. Starting today, I'm only living my own life. Take care of your son yourselves. I hung up the phone and turned it off. That night, I sat alone in my rental apartment, eating a frozen pizza and drinking a can of beer. Outside, the air conditioning unit was still making its noise, but I no longer found it annoying. I felt something I hadn't experienced in years, lightness, an unprecedented sense of freedom. I thought the incident with my mother coming to my workplace would be the end of it. I didn't expect there would be more consequences. The next day, my supervisor asked to speak with me. Amanda, about yesterday's situation? I'm sorry for the disruption, I said. It's okay. Every family has its complications, she said. But I wanted to ask, is your family having financial difficulties? I was confused. What kind of difficulties? What your mother was saying yesterday about your brother's wedding expenses and such. I smiled bitterly. That's just a family disagreement. My brother is getting married. My parents want me to pay for the wedding, and I refused. That's all. And your mother? She thinks I'm unfilial. My supervisor nodded and didn't ask any more questions. But I knew the story had spread throughout the company. Coworkers started asking me privately, Amanda, your brother is getting married and you really won't contribute money? No, I won't. But when your mother came yesterday, she came to cause a scene, I said directly. She thinks I should pay, and I think I shouldn't. My coworker hesitated, then finally said, Well, that must be difficult for you. Yes, it was difficult, but the difficult times were almost over because I had made a decision. On Saturday, Lisa sent me a screenshot. It was from Kevin's Instagram. Another photo of his wedding invitation with the caption, December 28th, please join us in celebrating. Special thanks to my parents, without whom none of this would be possible. Only son, blessed by your love. Only son. He had written it again. I stared at those words for a long time. Then I smiled. Not a bitter smile, but a genuine one. Lisa, I typed. I want to do something. What? You mentioned before that your colleague knows Kevin's fiancé, right? Yes. Why? Can you help me find out if she accepts friend requests from strangers on Instagram? What are you planning to do? I want her to know some things. Lisa quickly responded. I got her Instagram handle for you, but are you sure you want to do this? I'm sure. Okay then, she said. I support you. I sent Sophia a friend request. In the verification message, I wrote, Hello, I'm Kevin's older sister. 10 minutes later, she accepted. Hello, Kevin's sister? she sent me a message. Kevin told me he was an only child, though. I smiled and sent her a screenshot. It was from my financial records. From 2016 to 2024, every single transfer I had made to Kevin. Total, $80,270. What is this? She asked. This is the money I transferred to Kevin over 8 years, I replied, to support his education, from undergraduate through graduate school. She didn't respond immediately. After a while, she asked, "You're Kevin's older sister?" "Yes." "But he said he was an only child." "What he said and reality are two different things," I replied. "What else did he tell you? That his family was wealthy? That his parents were business owners?" She didn't answer. I continued. "Kevin's parents are ordinary people. My father is a retired factory worker receiving $2,400 monthly in Social Security. My mother doesn't work." Silence. "All of Kevin's college expenses came from me. 8 years, $80,000. I live in East Los Angeles, eat fast food, and haven't bought new clothes in 6 years." She still didn't respond. I sent one final message. "I'm not trying to sabotage your relationship. I just think you have the right to know the truth." Then I deleted her from my contacts. After removing Sophia, I did one more thing. I posted that screenshot of my financial records to our extended family group chat with the caption, "Kevin says he's an only child. This is the bill for his 8 years as an only child." Then I posted it to Kevin's Stanford classmate group chat, which Lisa had helped me access. The caption read, "Hello everyone, I'm Kevin's older sister. He claims to be an only child, but I exist. These are my records of supporting his education for 8 years. $80,000. After posting, I turned off my phone. I knew this would cause an explosion, but I didn't regret it. They said I didn't exist, so I wanted everyone to know that I did exist. $80,000 in black and white. I existed. I kept my phone off for a day and a night. Monday morning, when I turned it back on, my messages had exploded. The family group chat was in chaos. "Amanda, how could you post something like this? Amanda, are you trying to air our family's dirty laundry in public? Amanda, your brother is about to get married. What are you trying to accomplish with this?" But there were also people defending me. $80,000. Amanda supported him for 8 years, and Kevin claims to be an only child? I always thought there was something wrong with that Kevin boy. I didn't know he was this ungrateful. Amanda has had such a hard time these past 8 years, living in that tiny apartment and saving every penny for her brother. Kevin's Stanford classmate group chat had also exploded. Lisa forwarded me some of the messages. "Damn, Kevin has a sister." $80,000. His sister supported him with $80,000? Didn't he say his family was wealthy, that his parents were business owners? I wondered how he could afford Stanford. Turns out his sister was funding it. Kevin is such a terrible person. His sister supported his education and he claims to be an only child? Major red flag. Does his fiancée know about this? I read these messages with complete calm. The people who needed to know now knew. Kevin called me repeatedly, over a dozen times. I didn't answer. My mother also called dozens of times. I ignored those too. Finally, a call came from an unknown number. I answered. "Hello? Amanda?" It was Sophia's voice. "This is Sophia Hamilton." "Hello. I'd like to talk with you." "Sure." We arranged to meet at a Starbucks. When Sophia arrived, her eyes were red and puffy, like she had been crying. "Kevin explained everything to me," she said, her voice hoarse. He said you two have had disagreements and that you're deliberately trying to defame him. Do you believe him? She was quiet for a moment, then shook her head. I don't know who to believe. I handed her my phone. Transfer records, Venmo, Zelle, bank transfers, they're all here. You can look through them slowly. She took my phone and scrolled through entry after entry. I sipped my coffee and waited. After a long time, she returned my phone. $80,000. It's real. It's real. He said he was an only child, said his family was wealthy, said his sister was a manager at a large company. All lies. Tears fell down her cheeks. My parents didn't approve of me being with him at first, she said. His family background was ordinary, while mine was more privileged. But he told them his family had money, they just kept a low profile. My parents investigated but didn't find anything suspicious, so they believed him. He lied to you. He lied to me. She wiped her tears. It's not just about the money. He won't even acknowledge his own sister. What kind of person is he? I didn't say anything. Amanda, thank you. She looked at me seriously. If it weren't for you, I might have actually married him. What are you going to do now? She was quiet for a moment. Break off the engagement. Sophia was true to her word. That very afternoon, she confronted Kevin. Lisa texted me. Amanda, things have exploded on your brother's end. What happened? Sophia broke off the engagement. Not only that, she recovered all the deposits. I heard her family is furious, saying Kevin attempted marriage fraud. Marriage fraud? Yes, Kevin told Sophia his family was wealthy, but it was all lies. Sophia's father called it deception and threatened to sue him. I was stunned. Sue him? It's probably just a threat, Lisa said. But the wedding is definitely off. Your brother must be in a terrible state right now. I didn't respond. Was he in a terrible state? I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. That evening, my father called. This time I answered. Amanda. His voice sounded exhausted. Your brother's wedding is off. I know. You know? Yes. Was it you? Did you tell Sophia? Yes, it was me. The phone went silent for a long time. Then my father said something that revealed everything. How could you do such a thing? You're his older sister. I laughed. Dad, he says he's an only child. He doesn't have an older sister. That was just careless talk. No, it wasn't careless, I interrupted. That's what he really thinks. He never considered me his sister. I supported him for 8 years, and in return I got blocked and hidden from his social media. He told his fiancée he was an only child and that his family was wealthy. From beginning to end, he never acknowledged my existence as his sister. My father couldn't respond. Dad, I only told his fiancée the truth. What's wrong with that? But his wedding? His wedding is his own business, I said. He lied to people, and now they don't want to marry him. How is that my fault? Amanda? Dad, I have nothing more to say. Take good care of your son from now on. I hung up the phone. This time I didn't feel sad at all. I only felt finally free. After Kevin's wedding was called off, I thought everything would be over. I was wrong. There were more consequences to come. Sophia's family actually did pursue the matter, not through legal action, but by spreading word about Kevin throughout their social circle. Sophia's family had a reputation in the area through their real estate business. Her father knew many influential people. Kevin's marriage fraud story quickly spread through their network. Did you hear about that Stanford graduate, Kevin Foster? He tried marriage fraud. What kind of marriage fraud? He told a woman his family was wealthy, but they're actually poor. He also claimed to be an only child when he actually has a sister who funded his entire education. 8 years? How much money? $80,000. Jesus Christ, his sister must have suffered a lot. More than suffered. His sister lived in East Los Angeles to save money for his education, and he turned around and claimed to be an only child. What kind of person does that? Total scumbag. Kevin's reputation was completely ruined. It even affected his job search. Lisa told me that Kevin had interviewed at several tech companies, but was rejected by all of them. One company's HR department knew about his situation and rejected him outright. Your brother is living off your parents now, Lisa said. I heard he plays video games all day. That has nothing to do with me anymore. True, how are you doing? Pretty well. And I really was doing well. Since I stopped sending monthly transfers, my life had improved dramatically. I moved out of East Los Angeles and rented a one-bedroom apartment with a balcony and a swimming pool. Sunlight actually entered my living space. I bought new clothes and enjoyed several meals that cost $50 per person. I even started saving money. Before, I thought saving money was impossible. Now I discovered that without sending money to Kevin, I could save over $3,000 each month. In 1 year, that would be $40,000. In 5 years, $200,000. I could buy a car, travel, and live the life I wanted. This feeling was wonderful.